Welcome, victims, to the Horr-Gasm podcast, the show where the serial killer isn't coming for you, you're coming for them. I'm Nick, and this is my co-host, Ali.
Hey, hey, hey.
Thank you for joining us wherever you are.
Yeah, in this, I guess, oh my god, it's June.
It's June.
Ah!
Where'd May go?
I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. June, oh my god. That's awesome.
So this is our last of our
Yes.
classic horror movie
Yes.
month.
I'm kind of sad, I'm not gonna lie.
These have been really good.
Yeah.
Like, really good.
Yes. The more we watched, the better they got, I think.
Yeah,
I
because
think
we went in order of release. So it went from
Right.
1931, and this last one was 1934.
Yes.
So they got a lot better.
And I think once you get used to the style of them almost, you know what I mean? Like the effects and the rough chops and
No color.
the color, the no sound. Once you get used to it, you can, I don't know, you kind of start to appreciate it more.
Well, it really went from Dracula,
Yes.
which was basically only one little bit of music,
Yes.
one score, and that
Yeah.
was it, to The Invisible Man, which had music through the whole thing. They had music to accompany the mood, to
Yep.
help set atmosphere, to really set things up. And it
Makes a huge difference. Yeah.
Night and day. So good.
Yeah, this one was really interesting. I don't know, I kind of appreciate that about us being like not having a background in like theater or film or set or anything, or acting obviously, but I mean like it almost it makes me appreciate it more.
Yeah.
And there's no, like, I've never studied it. I've taken English classes about this kind of stuff, but more just scripts and whatnot. But you really, you do appreciate the, like, especially in The Invisible Man, the effects that went into this.
Fantastic.
You appreciate how hard that must have been in 1934. Like, what? That's crazy.
I know.
Yeah, I really liked it.
So good.
Yeah.
I was gonna make it. Also, all of the four we watched,
Yes.
The Mummy was the only one without some sort of pre-existing like story they based off of.
Right.
The Invisible Man was based off of the story by H.G. Wells. Where
Okay.
Dracula had Bram Stoker write it.
Yes.
Frankenstein had Mary Shelley. The
Yes.
Mummy was kind of just someone's like, Mummy.
Yeah.
What if it came alive? And they made a
That's
movie out of
scary.
it. But it worked. It's
For
a
sure.
great plot.
Yes.
What's interesting about The Invisible Man is we start off basically running.
Exactly.
We don't see how he got turned. We get told,
Yes.
but he's already invisible.
Yes.
And he's trying to get the antidote and all that. And
You're right. There was no exposition in the beginning. You're right.
He goes right in.
Yeah.
And that works for this movie.
Yes.
He goes right in, and
Yeah.
there's really just not much of a slow pace, except for maybe when the Flora and
Yes.
her dad, the colleague, trying to go talk about it.
Yes.
That's about it for slowdown.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of go.
Yes.
And
he's wreaking havoc the whole time. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It was a lot, what's it called? Like bloodier? Not even blood. There's no blood, everybody. But like, there's a lot more destruction and killing than we've seen in any of these.
Out of all of them, he's got the highest kill count.
Yeah, like
122.
he's straight up like murdering people. Yeah. And you're just like, oh, okay. Whereas in, Frankenstein, they didn't show the scene where he throws the little girl into the river lake body of water. But in this, he like straight up smashes a dude in the face with a stool. And I was like, I was not ready for it. And I was just like, what?
He knocked over his little rampage at the beginning, knocked over a carriage with a baby and tipped it over. I'm like, that's a heartless bastard
like,
right there.
What?
Like,
he was crazy.
It was
oh, and then a whole train. Just he takes a whole train down.
Yep.
Like, what?
He even said he would.
Yes, he did. He warned us, but I was not ready for it to actually happen. It was crazy. But yeah, it does keep the pace of the movie up, which is nice.
It does. And of all of the classic four we did, this guy's like the Invisible Man's gotten the least amount of movies out of it.
Interesting.
Like after this one, just watched. The next one was in 1940s. There was a couple. The Invisible Man Returns, The Invisible Woman.
Okay.
There was 1942, The Invisible Agent. 44 had The Invisible Man's Revenge. And then you had Abbott and Costello, The Invisible Man.
Cool.
The Invisible Avenger, which I don't think that even counts as part of the continuity.
Right.
And then we jumped to 84.
Oh.
Another remake of The Invisible Man.
Yes.
And then we got Hollow Man, which was a fantastic movie with Kevin Bacon. A sequel, which was a direct-to-video.
Oof.
And then the newest one out this year.
Was 2020, yeah.
So that's been it. That's been the Invisible Man's big-time movie releases.
So, is it always... have you seen, like, some of the other ones other than this one, Hollow Man? Or,
no.
No?
No. I haven't seen this one. I was I've seen the clips.
I've
seen
of course.
Clips of all the ones we've seen.
Yes.
We've watched this month. I've seen clip after clip. I'm like, okay, cool. I get an idea. Like with the main one I've seen with Invisible Man is when he first takes off the bandages and laughing and cackling and threatening as they're all watching. And when we first saw them, we were like, that's some damn good effects for 33.
Yeah.
33? Yes, 33.
Yes. Yeah.
And we found out a little later how they did that.
Yes.
But still.
Yeah,
looks. You can tell,
it was really good.
Yeah, you can tell that it's a little more, different, filming. But
right.
For the time, that would have blown my mind.
For sure.
How?
Yeah.
How they do it? It has to be fake. It has to be. But how is it hanging? Like how?
Yes, exactly. I agree. The part that I've seen like him. Like I know what is when he was in the bandages. I've seen that still before, and the part where he sits down in the one guy's home and you get the butt prints on the seat.
Yeah.
And I thought, because I've seen that and I was like, that is cool. However they did that, it was probably just reversed or something, but it is so cool.
I don't know if they even thought of using reverse. I think there's a lot of just really hidden wires, pulleys, floaty stuff. They must have had just because when he was like holding stuff, it kind of bounced around a bit, like he was being held by like it must have been like using a fishing wire or something.
Yes. It was so cool, yeah, and so I've seen that.
This was when before they could actually go in and digitally remove the wires. Maybe
for sure.
Maybe if it was in a dark background, they could black it out with maybe a marker on the film, but still you'd see that. You didn't see a thing.
Nothing. Yeah, it was really well done, and I don't know how much these movies are remastered, but whatever they did, it was, or even if it's not, it was really, really good. The other thing that I was just going to say is that this one, how he went crazy, or not crazy, how he's, yes, he did go crazy, but like how he went invisible was from a lab experiment, and the new one, spoilers if you don't want to know how he's invisible in the new one, spoilers.
Skip ahead for 10, 15 minutes, seconds.
Yeah, seconds. Okay, so in the new one, he wears a suit. And it's from head to toe. He still has to be, so he doesn't have to be like naked under it or whatever. I think he is. But he wears a suit that basically reflects light, and that's how he's invisible. He's a tech guy, and that's how he does it.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
I know. And so that's how I thought that it was cool that, just the difference. And that is, I think, what makes new movies awesome, is changing up instead of a weird lab accident experiment. It's very updated.
It does. Yeah,
Isn't that cool?
I think so.
I remember, when I saw it, I was like, well, that's neat. So, yeah, fun times.
So,
There's just
Spoiler over.
Yeah, I'm all done.
But that's for that to work would be more modern.
Exactly.
As opposed to some guy, I'll take some bleach, I'll take some Clorox, and mix them together and throw in some baking powder and boom, I'm invisible.
Yeah, surprise.
It kind of makes sense as opposed to just some guy just mixing a bunch of shit together.
Yes.
And, I'm just going to inject this, take some Tide Pods, munch on them while I take it same time. I'm invisible.
But I think that that's a good way to update a movie. Like, it doesn't have to be bit for bit. Almost in the same sense, I've talked to some of my friends about, like, I think in a really messed up, fucked up, roundabout way, The Creature of the Black Lagoon is the old version of The Shape of Water. I don't know.
You're not wrong.
Kind of.
You're not wrong.
Right?
That's totally.
But that's how you update it and make it current and that kind of stuff.
But even then, it was set in the 30s, 40s.
Right.
Like the Shape of Water was set in an older time,
yes.
but still it worked. It
yes.
was really good. I like that movie.
Yes.
Not too much scary, but
exactly.
It was just a good, different kind of updated movie.
Exactly.
I know for Hollow-Man did the same idea. It wasn't the same experiment.
Right.
It wasn't drugs. It was like just a machine or something that turned him invisible.
Exactly.
And like the original movie, it made him mad.
And this is the thing is like what I've talked about on this podcast before, like I'm not a big remake person. I'm more into original ideas. But if you're going to remake it, change it up a bit. Make it modern. Nobody wants to see the same thing over and over again.
True.
Exactly.
But then also people do that and people get mad because you changed too much.
Exactly. Which is what Disney's finding right now, I think, is that's either when they're too close or they change it and it's like not close enough. Like there's a fine line that they're trying to walk, which I think they did really well with Beauty and the Beast. And it got a little more rough in Aladdin.
Yes. I've seen most of Lion King. Lion King wasn't bad.
Yeah.
They kept it pretty close.
Right.
Changed a little bit here and there, but whatever.
Yeah.
I'll throw one at you. Ghostbusters.
Yes.
They fucked that up.
Yes.
It wasn't because the director and some of the cast swear it was because it was all people cast.
Yep.
And because of the political time.
Yes.
And all that. No. I'm sorry, that was just a bad movie.
I liked it. I didn't think it was like the worst movie I've ever seen. # Catwoman. I thought it was
good drop. That was good.
I love Kate McKinnon. Like the one with the glasses and the overalls, the dorky one.
Yeah.
I thought that, we've talked about this before when it came out, because we had a thing when it came out. I think that, what's it called? Chris Thor, whatever this fucking name is.
Hemsworth.
Yes, Chris Hemsworth. I think he was the worst part of it. I think his character didn't match at all.
No.
And we talked about this too, like the humor, it was so overdone. Like they did the same jokes over and over again. Exactly. And it was just, because they're like, hey, this was funny. You guys laughed, right? Let's do it 10 more times.
Exactly. And
it's like, okay, enough.
That's terrible. They ruined the joke and the movie that way.
Yes.
Tired and bored. Like, oh, they're slimed again. It's a big thing. We're taking a bunch more time. Why?
I know. And it's like, I think it had potential to be a really cute movie. Because I'm like, some of the jokes were good. But some of them were like, they're the same bit would go on and on and on. It's like, okay, I get it. Chris Hemsworth's dumb. Like, I get it. I don't have you to show me every scene over and over. And like, it just goes on too long.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's just too bad because I do like literally every actor in that I really like. Or actress, whatever. It just, sometimes it doesn't work together. Unfortunately.
No. And he's the director is saying on Twitter.
Yeah.
Because now there's now talk of releasing the Snyder cut of Justice League.
Yes.
Which it's going to be disappointing. People are getting so hyped up for
it.
And then you're like, that was it?
Yes.
I like the other one better.
But they talked about doing that for Suicide Squad too, releasing all the Joker videos. Don't know that. Really?
I don't. I think mainly because of Jared Leto.
Yeah, Jared Leto feels slighted.
Well, he shot himself in the foot by making a big bitch of himself over the Joker, which came out with Joaquin Phoenix, and just being a big bitch about it.
And then not feeling again slighted that he wasn't called back to do the new Batman. Yeah.
You know, whatever.
Right.
I didn't like that Joker. That was a poor Joker.
I liked him as the Joker. The thing I didn't like, and we've talked about it before even on here, is the relationship between him and Harley Quinn. I think that there's a way that we could do, that he tried to do it himself, and I think as an actor you have to, but he's seen, I think you get to the point where, like, you're so badly trying to not be Heath Ledger that you're purposefully not doing it that way. Does that kind of make sense? Like, you're purposely, even though you're like, well, I'm not doing it, so that's not going to be my thing. I think you're trying too hard then.
And I don't want to, like, right now, for seeing Jared Leto in for Morbius, in the new Marvel movie coming out, he looks great.
For sure.
He's doing a great job. I'm not saying Jared's a bad actor.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
The writing, the character design, all they did for the Joker was wrong. And Jared basically had to make chicken salad out of chicken shit.
Yes.
He did his best.
Yes.
He could have done worse, but that's not the character that I know and appreciate and like of the Joker, which you shouldn't like at all. But they made him too goofy.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like, coming from, I prefer the old serialized TV show with Adam West of Batman. That Joker.
Yes.
I forget his name. I shouldn't. Anyways, he was more goofy, more whatever, but he was such a good Joker because he was more like the comics.
I agree.
That same with Jack Nicholson.
Yes, he was so good.
Same with Heath Ledger. They went way back to the very original Joker from the comics, the very first design.
Yes.
And basically said, here's this, and Ledger, sadly, to his death, went above and beyond for that character.
Yes.
And now which I'd make more of a gangster kind of wannabe guy.
But then can you understand, because they shot like hours of Joker footage and they didn't put it in the movie?
Why?
That would be frustrating as an actor.
It's not the Joker movie. It's
right.
The Suicide
Exactly. But that's the thing, is that like it's such a developed villain. And that, I don't know, I totally understand where he's coming from, because he says they shot like really cool stuff. But like you can't have that much Joker in it because it pulls it away.
Exactly. And so he just, again, that's the producer, the director.
Exactly.
It's everyone else's fault but Jared. And I don't want to make it sound like he's being a martyr on this.
Yes.
He's not.
Right.
He's just being a bitch about it. But I don't blame him. But also, it's more than just him.
Exactly. Yes.
And if I was him, which I think he's done by now, wash your hands out, saying, fine, I'm done. Hey, Marvel's got a good deal for me. I'll take that. I'll make this better.
Exactly.
And again, from what I've seen, this looks great because of writing, directing, producing.
Yes.
Them knowing what the fuck they're doing, unlike DC. So
I don't have anything against DC. I love Suicide Squad. I'm probably one of the only people out there. I love Suicide Squad. So don't take that like our talks as in like I don't like it, because I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't.
Just FYI.
That's nice try.
I do. I loved like Aquaman, Wonder Woman.
Haven't seen
it. So good.
I don't like women. I don't.
Interesting.
I don't like the character. I never was a fan. She flies an invisible jet. You can still see her. I don't get the point of that. But yeah, I think for the Joker and Heart, we'll go back to this when we're way off topic. Anyway,
how many times are we gonna? We should do like a count every time we get off topic with Marvel and DC.
Take a shot. Take a shot.
Oh my god. Yeah, I think it's like every third episode we talk about Marvel and DC.
We should almost start a whole different podcast of
just talk about that. Yeah.
But the current Harley Quinn cartoon done a fantastic job with Joker, Harley Quinn.
Yes,
dynamic. And I'm not going to spoil anything because go watch it yourself. It's great. It's funny.
Yes,
it's really good. And they're actually now going into the Harley Quinn Poison Ivy relationship from the comics.
Cute.
Which I didn't think they would, and they're going full steam ahead. I'm curious to see what they're going to do with it.
And the Emancipation of Harley Quinn, like the Birds of Prey movie, was awesome too. Because it's literally the beginning of the movie. She's like, wait a second. We have a toxic relationship. And you're like, yes, bitch, you do. You do. So it's just kind of nice.
Our good friend Tim saw, I think he said he saw it.
Yep.
I'm sure he saw it. He said, you know what, Nick, don't.
Oh, I loved it. It was one of my... I liked it, just as much as Suicide Squad. The action was so good.
They also had to change the title halfway through because no one cared. To see it because it had such a...
Well, probably other than me. I was really excited the whole time.
Well, it's basically the Harley Quinn movie with these other characters who show up later on.
Yes.
Who should have more roles, but let's make it Harley Quinn, she's a big star now.
Totally. Yeah.
There's everyone, ever since, I don't know when, it's been a while, people have been pairing up Harley Quinn and Deadpool.
Interesting.
Because they would be just the craziest couple. And I
Yes. Oh, that would be so chaotic. Oh my gosh. Well, after that little tangent, I have no segue for you. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Speaking of chaotic people, do you want to talk about the Invisible Man?
I think we should get into the Invisible Man before we go any further.
You're crazy to know who I am, aren't you? All right, I'll show you. I'll show you who I am and what I am. How do you like that,
All right, so if you couldn't tell from our DC Marvel talk, this week we watched The Invisible Man, which is a 1933 movie. It was directed by James Whale. Good name, James.
Yeah.
And it was written by H.G. Wells, as you mentioned before, and the screenplay was written by R.C. Sheriff. A bunch of great names.
Yeah. And they made a great movie together.
They did. It was really, really awesome.
This
yeah.
was really good.
Like I already said, this is, I think, I say this every week. I'm like, this is the best. This is the best of all the ones we've watched. I really like these movies.
Yeah,
They're just getting better and better.
They stood up.
Yes.
Despite being one of the earliest movies,
yes.
These ones have stood up to the test of time.
For sure.
Especially, I'll say all of them, but this one really well, because as they progressed, they got better at the whole directing and
everything.
Camera work.
Yes.
Really well done. And for actors, it's a small cast for main characters. There's a few people, but go for the main one.
But that's nice. I actually appreciate the smaller cast, because I think then obviously there was money, but not a ton. But you can spend money elsewhere. And I don't feel like this, doesn't benefit from having a huge cast.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, from these ones that we've watched, I think that having a smaller cast, there's nothing wrong with that.
It does, yeah. It depends on the movie, depends on the script. And
yes.
everything.
You can develop the characters a bit more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Spend more time with each individual character. Because, we really, most of the time, obviously see, Jack Griffin. We follow him most of the time. But there is a bit of,
there's really,
Flora and her father.
Well, there's really small sets.
Yes, exactly.
And that makes it more tight and cramped, and you have less actors focused on which works. Like you
exactly.
Got the saloon,
yeah.
Dr. Kemp's house, the other doctor's house, and outside.
For sure.
And that was it. That was it for Maine. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, it's awesome.
So for actors,
yes.
we had Claude Rains, who played Dr. Jack Griffin.
So good.
Griffin, also known as the Invisible Man.
Mm-hmm.
Gloria Stewart, who played Flora Cranley.
Mm-hmm.
William Harrigan played Dr. Arthur Kemp. And Henry Travers played Dr. Cranley, who's the father of Flora.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get a little extra of Una O'Connor was Jenny Hall. She was the
yes.
The barmaid.
It looks like the barman, like the owner's wife or something. Yeah.
The owner of the place where he tried to get room and board.
The Lion's Head, I think it was called.
Yes. And he did a great job. Or she did a great
job.
Oh,
she was so good.
Screaming
just hysterical.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was awesome. And the other thing that I really like about these movies is that there's no fluff with the storyline. It's linear and it's start to finish. There's no cutaways, there's no flashbacks. It's just this is it. This is a movie start to finish.
Yep.
And you almost miss that simplicity. You know what I mean? It's really nice to see a movie. It's just, this is where we're starting. This is all the action. This is where we're finishing. Bad guys almost always dies. That's it. This is the movie.
These movies really follow the tried and true test method, less is more.
Yes.
Other movies, they cram so much stuff, trying to get so much in there.
Yes.
And you get so convoluted, so busy. You're like, what's going on? And you kind of lose yourself.
Yes.
Whereas this, you focus on the Invisible Man the entire movie.
Exactly.
We get, as we go, he tells us, we see his descent into madness.
Right.
And we get an idea of his, how it affects him, how it's changing him.
Exactly.
And how it's affecting others. Like Flora and him were engaged.
Mm-hmm.
And he's another guy who gets so obsessed. It's very similar to Frankenstein. He's so obsessed with his work.
Yeah.
He disappears for a few years.
Right.
And she's all, where did he go? Oh, no. And he's like, for my work. Gotta get this figured out.
Yes.
And so, yeah.
There seems to be in lots of these, though, like a female yearning for one of our main characters, villains, something like that.
Yeah.
But I think that's, again, just another trope with horror movies is, there's always a woman that's, going to turn them back and do the right thing. And
I think
right?
I think that's kind of also, not so much a trope, but also girls like the bad guys.
Right.
And
it's of the time.
Yes.
Probably.
I can make him, I can turn him less bad, be more good, he'll love me for it. And I think that's more of the theme.
Right.
Which was very common back then.
Exactly. Yeah, in the 30s.
Yeah. And also, we can see of the times, we had the men in the bar drinking. And
yes.
in the back, you had a little table of women drinking.
Yep. Yeah.
And, yeah, it's very shocking.
It's crazy, hey? I know. It's just, when you look at it, you actually can't. And again, there's no people of color. There's none.
No, there's not.
In a single one we've watched. But that's just what it was in 1930s. You can think. But.
I thought it wasn't Frankenstein. Frankenstein or the Mummy.
Yeah, it's just, it's crazy that, how much times have changed.
Yeah.
And, it's crazy. Just, being a girl, I like to sit in the bar, not in the back room. Appreciate that.
Where did you first hear about this movie, Allie?
Well, I don't know. Again, with The Invisible Man, it's just one of those things that's always sort of been around. Yeah. Like, I didn't even know that this was one, I've heard of it, but I think I more started hearing of it when they were developing the, 2021 with Elizabeth Moss, or whatever her name is. That's the one that I started looking into it a bit more, and then when we were doing this, I was like, oh, okay, cool, Invisible Man. But it's, I've always heard of it. I knew of him just forever. It's always kind of hanging out.
Same. It's come back in our youth. It was this kind of common knowledge of movie history.
Exactly.
It was one of the most well-known movies out there was Invisible Man.
Yeah, you just hear about it.
Nowadays, if you ask, again, we said this before, you ask someone around maybe teenager, a little older, have you heard of the Invisible Man? You know what it's about? No? Mm-hmm. It's invisible? Well, duh. But, do you know what he looks like? And we're like, well, no, he's invisible.
Right.
No, you got the wrapped up face.
Yes.
You got the gloves, the glasses.
Yeah.
All that is very synonymous with them. It's very iconic. That's the look.
Yeah.
With the Horr-Gasm, they kind of they took a little farther. He had some plastine and a mold done.
Right.
And that's what he wore. Mm-hmm. But didn't have that back in the day. He just wrapped him up with bandages.
And it worked great because everybody just assumed that he had been in an accident.
Exactly.
Right? So that's nice. But yeah, interesting how they do it.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Yeah, I liked it. Again, say that 12 times. I liked it.
I did too. Really good.
So should we, I guess, kind of talk about the actual movie then?
I think we should.
Yeah.
So, let's see. It starts off on a snowy night. And this is also apparently set in Britain.
Oh, is it?
Well, it has to be. They all have British accents.
You're right.
Because you got the Cockney accent, which I love.
Did the main character have a British accent? Was I just sleeping on that? Oh,
I think so.
Jeez Louise.
I think so. I think he did.
Okay.
So, a snowy night, a stranger, his face swathed up in bandages and his eyes obscured by dark goggles, takes a room at the Lion's Head Inn. In the English village of Iping in Sussex. So it's
okay, sure, yeah.
The man demands that he be left alone.
Mm-hmm.
And does he ever? He is
He's very curt, I think, would be his attitude. Yeah. That's, I was saying to Nick when we were watching, at the end, every time he talks to Jenny, I think is her name, right? Yeah. And he's like, it sounds like he's saying bitch at the end because it's like, I need a meal. I need a room. I need a drawing room. It's like, okay, but it's very, his tone is like, don't fuck with me.
Yeah. This
is what I need, and this is what's happening.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and he does it a few times.
Yes.
He's just rude.
Yes.
And
this is before he goes crazy.
This is also, though, it's a side effect of the drugs they put into him.
Yeah.
And it just makes him an asshole.
Yes.
So demands he was left alone. And he isn't.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
What kind of movie would that be?
Yeah, she finally went to bring him like some supper, and he's like, leave it, I don't want it. She's like, well, it'll be cold, and you should eat. And he just opens the door and kind of knocks on her hands.
Yes.
And tells her, basically, without saying anything, he said, fuck off.
Yes.
And she ran down, was all pissed off, tells her husband, you get him out. I'll
get
him out in in a half hour.
Yeah.
And so Mr. Hall goes up and...
and he's first like, shouldn't we let him like cool down or something? Because if he's kind of, acting a fool, shouldn't we just hold out? And she's like, nope, right now, I want him out within an hour. That's it. Yep.
And he's like,
yeah.
So he goes, and he also didn't pay rent for
a week. Yeah. And he owed a whole £3.
£3.
God.
So, Mr. Hall sent out to his life to evict a stranger, but he doesn't go for that. He makes a big mess because he's getting all mad because his research keeps getting disturbed. He ruined the day. And so the stranger, the invisible man, he throws Mr. Hall down the stairs.
Yes!
Just tosses him.
Yep. And as the in-between, he's they show him in his lab, and he's like working on something, and he like throws a vial at a wall, and it splashes all over, and the wife's complaining that there's stains all over the carpet, and it's just like, oh my gosh, like he's causing a ruckus.
Yeah. So Mr. Fall gets tossed down the stairs, and the wife screaming, shrieking, police, police, help, help, police, which is how they do back in the day.
Yes.
And so all the patrons come in and kind of bring Mr. Hall to the bar, bandage him up.
Yeah. They
run and get the police. They go, Bobby comes in, and what's all this then?
Yeah.
What's going on? And they explain, this guy upstairs, he's being a jerk. He tried to murder Mr. Hall.
Yeah, and assaulted Mrs. Hall.
Yes, and so he goes up there to confront. And with some villagers behind him, it doesn't go so well.
Yes.
So, because basically, the invisible man snaps.
Yeah.
He just, you want to see what I look like under these bandages?
Fine.
He has like the backstory. He was in a bad accident. He was very disfigured.
Yes.
And he almost got caught with his mouth exposed.
Right.
By Mrs. Hall, but he kind of covered up in time, and he's weird. And they're all kind of trying to, all the patrons are guessing what his story is. He's a murderer, he's hiding from the police, and all that. And so he's had enough.
Yes.
So he started taking his bandages off his head, just laughing.
Yeah.
Not shrieking, but just cackling as he does it, and kind of just telling them, I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to throw you all. And he does. He takes everything off, but it's like his shirt. He's running around. We find out he's naked.
Yes.
Basically, when he's visible, he is naked. He's got no clothes on.
Yeah.
And so he just chases him around. He chokes out the policeman. Beats up a few of the guys. Goes downstairs. Does the same thing.
Yes.
Makes a mess. Heads out to the street. He knocks over a baby carriage and baby inside.
Yes.
Throws the guy's hats off
into the lake. Poor guy.
He takes someone's bike and then falls over and throws it at him. Saying, I don't want this bike. Take what you want of it. Like, he's just going loony.
Yes.
And he runs off, and everyone's kind of freaking out, and they try and make a report, but the
constable
in charge is like, this is poppycock. It's all made up.
And he's like, well. Because then the actual police officer calls, and the constable's like, there's no way. And then he makes him talk to Mr. Hall, and he's like, yep, still no way. Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, he's going to target everyone here and make this, find out it's a big farce.
Yes.
So while we're doing this, we get to meet, we find out that the stranger, the man, is Jack Griffin.
Yes.
And we see that he was engaged to some girl named Flora, who's very worried about him.
Yes.
And her father, Dr. Cranley, is kind of trying to figure out where he is and what happened.
And he tells her, he's like, I gave him permission to do his experiments, to do what he wants. And he said he's just going to go away for a while. Like, don't worry so much. He's, probably fine. He's just working on stuff. Yeah. She's like, but father, I must know. And she's like just in pieces over him.
She is. And what the other guy... Dr. Kemp is kind of trying to sneak in there. And she's like, this is the wrong time. And
yeah, what's wrong with you? Yeah.
And so kind of Dr. Kemp and Dr. Cranley end up at Jack's old research building house. And they kind of sneak through and they find this one little note written down with a drug called monocaine.
Yes.
And Dr. Crane is explaining how that's a really bad drug. It's been experimented on.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes people go crazy.
It makes you go cray-cray.
I guess some German scientists tried it, put it into was it a dog?
Something like that, yeah.
And it turned white and the dog went mad.
Yeah.
Then had to put it down.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't find an antidote. And that's what we found out is what Jack's trying to do. He's trying to get an antidote for his condition so he can go back to normal.
Exactly.
But he can't. He's having a hell of a time. So he's...
and everything else, while they're in there, they find that everything else has been burnt. Like, he's burnt everything. Yeah, he doesn't want anybody following him. Yeah, and that's why, he's trying to... He went to this secluded village because he's trying to do everything secretly and figure it out. So...
And not do it himself.
Yes.
And I think it's also the paranoia of being of his condition.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that evening, Jack Griffin turns up at Kemp's home.
Yes.
And basically he forces him to become his visible partner in a plot to dominate the world through a reign of terror.
Yes.
Commencing with a few murders here and there.
And this is a butt cheek scene.
This is where he's really getting great effects.
Yes.
Where it's basically the guy playing Dr. Kemp is talking to no one.
Yes.
He's reacting to no one, just someone on the outside.
Exactly.
Speaking the lines to him.
Yep.
And the effects. So like you see him sit in the chair, he moves us around. He lifts up a log to put on the fire because he's naked, he's cold.
Yes.
He's probably got a bit of shrinkage going. And
the shrinkage, Jerry!
Cyber reference. I appreciate that. And Kemp, he's scared shitless. Mm-hmm. He doesn't know what to think. He's just so worried. So Jack's like, you know what? Give me some badges, give me some clothes. I'll make it easier for you. So he goes up, changes, and basically tells his plan out to Kemp, saying, all right, we're going to do this. You're going to be my invisible person.
Yes. Maybe
I'll turn you invisible. You'll have a turn. Ha, ha, ha. And he's like, well, we have to also go and get my books. I left them at the saloon, the hotel thing.
The bar, saloon,
we need to get them.
Yeah, so, those are very important.
Yes. So they go, drive there. Meanwhile, we're having the inquiry going on.
Yes.
And he's going to everyone. Well, I got the bike. Well, what happened? I took my bike and rode away. It couldn't have happened. Well, what the guy in the hat? He threw it in the lake. How much did you drink today? Oh, I had a few shots.
Yeah, I had a couple drinks.
Yeah, was that the wind? It's nothing.
Yeah.
And so the visual man, Jackie, sneaks through, goes up, grabs the books, drops them down to Kemp.
Yeah.
And of course, on the way back through, he has to be a jerk. He makes his friends known after basically they told everyone it's a hoax.
Yes.
It was not Invisible Man. It was all made up. It's not real. Mm-hmm. And he basically assaults the guy, like the inspector.
He starts like throwing glasses and stuff at the people, doesn't he?
And
just to clear it out.
Yeah. He squirts some ink in his face on him. And he picks up, he chokes him out, and he picks up the stool.
And, like, just smashes him in the face. And I don't know how they did this. They probably did it, like, I don't know. But, like, he actually, and I don't think it was hard, but this guy actually gets hit in the face with a stool. I will take that to my death. I swear.
It looks like they had it by, like, a rope, like a string, and this kind of let go. They just kind of dropped on the guy around the cheek.
Yes!
And there was a mark after him.
Yes!
Dude, that guy's a trooper. He took that well.
Yeah, like, it's crazy. But, so he gets back to the car where Kemp is sitting with the books and waiting for him. And he gets in and he's like, all right, let's go back to your house. And he's like, oh, did you get everything? Yeah, we got, I had to take care of pesky police officers. I'm like, talks about like it's nothing. Like he had to go make a withdrawal at the bank.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what?
Poor Kemp. He's just himself. So, back at the home. And, Rizman, he's like, I'm going to go sleep for a bit. And he gives some rules to Kemp how when he gets fed, he has to be left alone for an hour because you can see the food inside him.
Digesting,
which is cool. I wish it had an effect, but we see that in the Horror-Gasm.
I was hoping that they would, obviously they couldn't do that for this, but I mean, I wish that they would have used that in some way other than You know what I mean? Because they don't really use it, I don't think, to the most of its abilities.
But again, it's also 1933. They couldn't. I don't know how they could. They probably thought about it, but like how?
Exactly. Because that's like a way he could have been caught or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So he gives them these kind of instructions. Basically, Kemp's now a slave.
Yes.
He's stuck. He's told to sleep across from him, to have meals ready at this time, and just be ready for some murder and mayhem. It's happening.
Woohoo!
So Kemp's like,
anarchy!
I'm going to be the good boy. And first he calls Dr. Cranley, asking for help. And basically he's like, relax.
Yeah.
We have him where he is. We can help him. I'll help him. Flora wants to help him. Just between you and me.
Yeah.
Don't do anything stupid. And he tells Flora, because she's like, who's that? Oh, it's Kemp. Jack's at his place. We got a key. I'll take care of him, help him. Okay, yeah, we'll go there now. And he's like, no. Yeah, we'll go now. So
and Kemp says, he's like, please come right now. Like, I can't do this. Like, I'm going crazy. He's like, you're fine. Just wait till the morning. We all need our 8 hours. Don't be such a baby.
Exactly. And when Cranley tells him, tells us, he's reliable. He'll do the right thing. He won't say no. No, Kemp calls the police.
Immediately after.
And he's like, he's here. He's in my home. I come help. He's like, I only got 5 guys. I don't care. Get over here.
Yep.
And says, yeah, we're coming. And then Jack knocks on the door. Why is the door locked? He's like, I'm just, I couldn't sleep. I need to be alone down here.
Yeah.
With the door locked. Really?
Yeah. Yes. And so then,
he's not done.
He sees Flora and her dad running in, and he's like, oh, there's people here. You were lying. And he's like, well, I just call, Flora wants to come and check on you. He's like, okay, that's acceptable.
And that was kind of like the bring him back, the love of a good woman.
Yes.
He's like, I'm just trying to get back to normal. He really calms down.
Yes.
But then
and
they leave.
Yeah.
And then the cops show. And he's
like,
I did call the cops. And Kemp
you
denies,
jerk.
like, nope, I didn't do it, I swear.
They must have. It wasn't me.
Yeah, Kemp's a dick.
I know. He flip-flops back and forth.
And
so Jack's like, okay, well, fuck you. I'm coming back here at 10 p.m. tomorrow, and I'm off you.
You're dead.
Yep.
10 p.m. you will die.
Yep.
And
that's a promise.
Yeah, and then he leaves. He goes on a killing spree.
Yes.
He just escapes.
So what the cops are doing, though, is really interesting, and they do this twice in this movie. This is the first time they do it. They completely surround Kemp's home. They link arms, and they just slowly walk inward because they're assuming he can't get by. But there is some dumb police officers, like, with their arms linked loosely and stuff. So he could crawl under. And the guy says, make sure you're close so he doesn't crawl under. Yeah. But then when Griffin gets outside, he's like, he starts slapping and pulling their nose and stuff like that.
Knocks one guy's hat off. And pulls one guy's... It's a funny scene. He's being pulled... One officer, inspector is getting pulled by his legs and holding on to the guys.
Yes.
And then you see him being spun around by his legs.
Like, how did they do that? Like, did they hook him up to an apparatus and swing him around?
I think it's also implied that the medication, the drugs they took gave him some super strength.
Yeah.
And he takes he swings the guy so his pants comes off and he kind of hops over the gate, the wall, and disappears.
Yes.
And then we see this lady running down the street screaming as these pants are just chasing her.
That was good.
And then we got Jack just laughing and cackling away.
He's singing a song. Like, it's really like, something about, the ice in May or whatever. I can't remember. But it's like, it's terrifying.
It's to the tune of Pop Goes the Weasel.
Yes. If I would have seen this as a child, it would have haunted my dreams. Like, it's creepy how they did it. But really well done. So
the police are trying... Well, Kim tells them, I'm going to be killed at 10, help me.
Yeah.
So they're trying to make up a plan and all that. And while they're doing that, they'll start to search for Jack.
Yes.
And he throws 2 guys off a cliff.
Yes.
Causes a derailment.
Yes.
Which is murder. There's a bunch of people on the train. They die.
Yeah.
And he's just causing mayhem and havoc.
Yes.
And is just having the best time of his life. His morality is just out the window.
Yes.
And so while he's doing that, they're making a plan to keep Kemp alive.
Yes.
And he's going to use Kemp as bait.
Yeah.
And
Kemp's not really happy about this.
No, they explain how they have a big net ready, so he comes in, they can just go against the wall and
They demonstrate the net catching. It's hilarious. But that's how they clear the room too. They're like, okay, so this is how we're gonna do it. And then the guys walk back, like clear the room just with one net, and it's like, okay, well now that he's not here, we can talk about it. And it's like, okay.
And so we have a different. Kevin doesn't like this idea. He's like,
right.
well, just how do we get out of here? You lock me up, put me somewhere safe. Like, nope, we need to catch this guy.
Yes.
So their idea was get him to the police station.
Yep.
Sneak him out the back door, dress him as a policeman, drive him back to his house, and he drives basically 100 miles in any direction until this all blows over.
Yes.
And he's like, good idea. I like to get out of here. Great plan.
Yes.
So that's what they do. They have him surrounded by policemen and the net.
Yes.
Get him to the police station, switch him over, and while this is happening, you can see that Jack's following. He's kind of in on what's going on.
Absolutely.
So he's trailing and following. They're also, one of their ideas is to spray, like, ink.
Yes.
What they think it's in, they'll see him, which is a good idea.
Right.
But instead of also, he had to jump a wall, they would put some loose dirt. Mm-hmm. So that if he's on there, he'll kind of dust down, they'll know where he's coming from.
Right.
He didn't take into account a cat.
That's so
kitty kind of pops up on the wall.
Yeah.
Spray some dirt on one of the police
guards.
officers,
yeah.
And he freaks out.
Yeah. He's like, is he breathing?
This poor cat.
with ink. He's like, it's breathing down my neck. It's breathing down my neck. It's like, okay, bro.
He's here. I can hear his footsteps.
Yeah.
And he opened the ear to the wall.
Yeah.
And we all find out that that's not him. That was the cat. So we follow Kemp. He's back to his place. He's into his car. Starts driving away. And when he stops, he's like, it's 10 to 10. He'll never get me.
Yeah.
And then we hear Jack in the back seat.
Yeah.
It's like, I was with you the entire time.
Yep.
He explains how he followed him into the police station.
Yes.
He was there when he changed. He was on the side runner of the police officer when they took him to his house. And he hopped in the back seat. So he outsmarted me. This is a smart guy.
Yes.
Jack is no dummy. He's a very, very, very brilliant man.
Yeah. But it's to a fault, because even when Flora and him are talking in the previous scene, she says, my father will help you find this cure. And he's like, no, you think, your father, like, I'm the one.
Very arrogant.
Yes.
And he thinks he's, king shit of Turd Island.
Yeah. And if he, was this actually how he was, or was this exaggerated when he took this medication? Yeah. Was it invented when he took this? Like, yeah.
So he ties up Kemp and kind of sticks him in the front seat, puts the car down towards a cliff.
Yes.
And basically gives a push, and
off it goes.
And how he described, you'll probably get, you'll roll down, have a little bit of a fun ride. You'll hit a rock, probably break your arms, you go flying.
Yeah.
And then you'll probably die by breaking your neck.
Yeah.
And he's just detailing Kemp is just
freaking out. Yes. So, and sure enough, he does it, and then
he's trying, come back. I can be your friend. I can be your helper. We'll be partners. I'll be your slave. Let me live. He's like, no.
Yeah, you had your chance.
Exactly.
So it kicks him off, and then the car bursts into flames once it gets to the bottom. So Kemp is no more. Yeah.
He kept his promise.
He sure did. So
next morning, there's a big snowfall. Police are trying to find out how are we gonna. Oh, it's snowing out. We can find him so much easier now because of his tracks.
Right.
And we see Jack goes into a barn.
Yes.
And he's tired. He's kind of played out. He crawls into some hay and falls asleep.
Yes.
And a little time later, this older man comes in. And he hears snoring away. So he goes, runs to the police station, tells him, I've got him in the barn. He's there. My barn was breathing. I'm like, well,
what? Explain yourself.
We don't want to take it seriously, but we can't let any lead go unchecked.
Exactly.
So they go and he's in there. So they make a plan to surround it.
Yeah, and they do this surrounding thing again. Yeah.
And again, and this is very Frankenstein.
Yes.
Where they light on fire, and they have a searchlight on the door.
Yeah.
And you can see the door opens,
and Griffin runs out.
Yeah, he wakes up, runs out, walks out.
Yeah.
And again, this effect we haven't figured out how his
Footsteps.
in the snow.
Yeah.
Cool and great effects.
So cool.
I'm sure there's a way to do it.
Right.
And they follow the snow. They follow the footprints in the snow, and they shoot them. And all of a sudden, you see like an imprint of a body in the snow.
Yes.
And then cut to the hospital where they're telling him, you don't have so much time left.
He wants to see Flora.
He wants to see Flora before the end.
Yeah.
And like, well, does he have a chance to survive? And nope, two bullet holes.
I thought you said buttholes.
No, not 2 buttholes. He got shot. He got shot through the lungs.
Oh.
And so he goes and he explains that as he dies, he's going to become visible again.
Yes.
And he kind of has a little last touching scene with Flora where he wishes he was with her and he's done goofed up.
Yep.
To quote, I meddled in things that man must leave alone.
Yes.
And as he dies, his body becomes visible again, and you see him as he was before he became visible.
Right.
And the end.
And don't you think that that's basically the moral of the story for all 4 of these, is that someone meddled in something they shouldn't have? Like, Dracula was immortality. Frankenstein and the Mummy were bringing the dead back to life.
Yep.
And this one is, being invisible, which a human shouldn't be.
Yep.
Like, that's the moral of the story for all 4 of these, is that, like, you just need, like, leave well enough alone.
It should all be just categorized as one simple phrase. Don't fuck up.
Yep.
Don't fuck up.
Nope.
And they all fucked up.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It was again, I say this every week, but it was my favorite of the 4. I really liked this one, and I think Frankenstein were probably, of the 4, those were the 2 that I loved.
Like, the cinematography was fantastic.
So good.
Especially this one. It really was leaps and bounds ahead of Dracula and Frankenstein. There are no funny cuts. There's the odd cut.
Yes.
But the effects, how they did things were just incredible.
Yeah.
For the time. And great story. It came from H.G. Wells, who also did War of the Worlds.
Right.
Another well-known, famous script and screenplay and story. Like, this we would have anymore. We don't have any good writers and take an adaptation. Like, you got the Harry Potters.
Right.
Those are good.
That's been done.
But
then what about Twilight?
I was going to mention that. Then you got Twilight, which is just abomination. Like, even the Hunger Games, comparing the books to the movies were just
that was the biggest disappointment. I was a huge Hunger Games fan, like, back in my youth. And when the movies came out, I have never been as disappointed as Twilight.
Yeah.
I watched the first one, and, like, key plot points they changed. And the other thing, my arch nemesis in my life, Mr. Shaky Cam, that was the first time that he made, like, a horrible appearance that I hated, was the Hunger Games. That, like, ruined the movie. Ugh, it was just too bad. But, yeah, some work, like Lord of the Rings, worked amazing, I think.
Oh, that was one of the best adaptations ever.
I agree.
They did such a great job on that.
Especially the extended cuts, because then you get even more in there.
And they really, like... And that's a tough thing, because those books...
You could kill somebody with that book.
Well, that was just... It's very hard to read, because you get a lot of backstories and songs. Storyline, timeline-wise, it's all muddled up.
Exactly.
Like, they did... like, Peter Jackson knocked out the park.
I agree.
Did an amazing job with that.
Yeah, I agree. So, yeah, for being a book adaptation, I think, as well, it was perfect. It was really well done.
There were changes.
Of course.
In the book, he had a fiancée.
Sure.
And Kemp didn't die.
Right. But
you got to make him a little more vicious, I think.
Always.
And
you have to.
He was also mad from the beginning.
Yes.
As opposed to this, saying the chemical made him a mad, just crazy person.
He was crazy right from... Sure. Okay. So, sort of like Frankenstein, where the...
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, you have to do something like that to make him sympathetic. I understand that those two changes go hand in hand. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Nick, what would you rate this movie?
4. This is a 4 out of 5.
Awesome.
This is a great movie. Like I said, out of the 4, this is the best.
Definitely. I agree.
And even though it was one of the best ones, it didn't get as much mainstream coverage down
Right.
the road.
Right.
You still got Dracula, Frankenstein, The Mummy. They got all the big, so there's the Invisible Man,
Mm-hmm.
but not nearly to the extent. Of all the ones that they did, for like the Hammer horror movies,
Yep.
they never touched the Invisible Man.
Right.
They went with Werewolf, they went with Frankenstein, they went with Dracula.
Which is interesting.
Mummy.
I wonder why.
How much can you change it to Man is Invisible goes crazy?
Right.
That's the same. It's very rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
It's hard to do something original with that story.
Yeah.
Whereas Dracula, you can always have, he keeps coming back to life.
Exactly.
He has a different idea, different victims,
Yep.
different goals. See with Frankenstein.
Yeah.
In the end, he didn't die. He wants a bride in the sequel. He wants something else. Different, like have the doctor being the villain as
Right.
opposed to the monster.
Yeah.
With the mummy, they just kind of kept adding on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's another mummy. It's a female mummy. It's
Right.
the mummy's hand.
Yeah.
It's a different. With the Invisible Man, it's just the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And besides changing the gender, it's
Yep.
tough to really add on.
Sure.
Besides, someone else found his notes and
Yeah.
did the same thing, and now he's gone mad.
Right.
And now he wants to go and destroy the world or
Mhm.
get revenge on someone.
Yeah.
That's pretty. So, and I said before how less is more.
Yeah.
It's simple, makes it work.
Right.
But then you get the same thing over and over. It gets tiresome, and the appeal interest disappears.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. It's
That's why
it's
you gotta
yeah.
change it up.
Yes, you do.
And that's also like comparing it to the Alien franchise.
Yeah.
Alien was a great movie for horror. The
Mm-hmm.
sequel, Aliens, vastly different. It was more action.
Yes.
Alien 3 went back to the original idea, but changed up a bit more so it's more vicious. You see more of the alien. It's
Right.
more aggressive. Resurrection, they just decided to fuck everything up.
Which, I mean, as the fourth of the movie, that's about the time when they usually do it.
Yeah.
After a trilogy, I always feel like it's reaching a bit.
They were looking for money.
Yes.
Fox like, hey, there's interest in comics and games.
Yes.
Let's go back to the Alien franchise. Let's add to it.
Right.
Let's clone Ripley.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that's how I kind of felt about the Hobbit sequel or trilogy. Like, I loved the first movie. The first movie was phenomenal.
Yep.
And then the second one was like, all right, I see where they're going. Not too bad. And then the third one, I was like,
Well, for the second one, they ended with Smaug going to the village. I'm like,
yes.
oh, this is the end of the first one all over again.
Yes, exactly.
And it's...
Yeah.
I liked them all.
I did too. I didn't dislike it. The third one felt like lethargic. Like it was just too much. It was...
It followed the theme of Lord of the Rings very well. The first
Yes.
is the travel.
Yes.
The second one is a little more plots and a big battle.
Yes.
And then the third
Third
one
one is
ends with
just
the big
battle.
battle.
Yes.
And
Which, like, I've read the book. Like, I knew it was coming. Still, it was just kind of like,
Like,
Yeah.
for the third, the last two movies
mm-hmm.
of The Hobbit, they added the Silmarillion
Yes.
and one other one of extra stuff.
Exactly.
Like with Sauron
Yes.
and his the Necromancer.
Yes.
Like, they added that from the different books. Not The
Yeah,
Hobbit.
right. And I really I liked what they did with it. Like, I don't think it was bad. It was just, I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I love the first Hobbit, though. The first Hobbit is, like, one of my favorite movies. Icky, why you gotta clean yourself right now? We're just doing the end of our podcast, honey.
Just a look.
Mom, stop. Oh, I'm
Now
sorry.
she's
No,
tired.
I didn't make
Now
her
she's tired.
sad. It's the executive producer telling us she's mad.
She's doing the power, like, finish up. No care
Yes.
for you guys. This
Well, I don't know if I said, but I would rate it 3.5.
3.5?
Yeah. And that's the highest I think I've rated any of them. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I
think
think
the
it's
Mummy
right
got
about there.
3.5 for me.
Good.
But they give it 3.
I don't
I
remember.
forget.
Well, I think 3.5. I think it's just, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
And it's, I would watch it again. Definitely.
And our lovely exec producer, her
Yes.
kill of the flick was Kemp's.
It has to be, yeah.
Yeah.
As
Yeah,
much
it
as I
was-
loved the police officer getting a stool to the face, which, like, was intense,
Yeah.
Kemp's was just, he had it coming the whole film, honestly.
The build-up was very well done.
Yeah. Hitting on his girl, and then double-crossing him, even though he's a bad guy, and then, trying to, go out the back door, and then, Just
didn't work.
Deserved it.
Caught him.
Yeah.
Caught him and threw him off. Well,
big fiery cliff death.
Yeah. Not a good way to go.
Not a good way to go. And next week we're watching Monster House.
This is your that for a while.
Love this movie. It is one of my favorite movies and scared the shit out of me when it came out.
Haven't seen it yet. I remember the trailers. I just never gone to watch them.
You're gonna really like it.
Okay.
Like you're gonna really like it. Like I don't want to hype it up too much in case you're like, ew, I don't know what's wrong with you. But I've watched it recently and it totally stands up.
Awesome.
It's the effects are like how they did the animation is really cool.
Because this isn't stop motion. This is CGI.
This is CGI, and how they do it is so cool. Yeah, but it's like the awkward, wimpy main character, and like the kind of chubby comic relief sidekick, and then like the super smart girl that he kind of sort of likes. Like it's just the perfect trio. It's like, yeah, I think you're really gonna like it.
Nice.
Oh, and there's twists in it and everything. Oh, I'm excited. Yay! But thank you so much for joining us this week. This episode was brought to you by our executive producer, Ichabod, who's still pouting a bit. We hope you enjoyed your Horr-Gasm as much as we did. Please don't forget to rate, download, and subscribe. Also, like and follow us on Facebook at Horr-Gasm Podcast, Instagram at Horr-Gasm, Twitter at Gasm Horror, and YouTube at the Horr-Gasm Podcast. If you have a movie you'd like us to review, this is the best way to let us know. We hope to see you again next week because we have such sights to show you, plenty of Horr-Gasms for you to experience,